Good morning, and welcome to your AI Daily Press Morning Podcast for April 16th, 2025. Firstly, the United States and Japan are navigating complex international relationships. Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba met with Turkmenistan President Serdar Berdimuhamedov, emphasizing their country's partnership and pledging to strengthen economic cooperation. Meanwhile, Japan is cautiously approaching its economic strategy in response to U.S. tariffs, choosing not to compile a supplementary budget for fiscal 2024. In the United States, Harvard University has rejected demands from the Trump administration aimed at combating anti-Semitism on campus, citing concerns over academic freedom and constitutional rights. The university's president, Alan Garber, stated that Harvard cannot compromise its commitment to academic freedom, which is essential to the pursuit of knowledge in society. This decision has led to a funding freeze, sending shockwaves through the academic community. Lastly, we're following developments in U.S.-Japan relations, as well as the ongoing tensions between educational institutions and federal authorities over issues of autonomy and compliance. That's all for this morning's summary. We'll continue to monitor these stories and provide you with in-depth analysis as more information becomes available. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to bringing you the latest news and insights tomorrow. This is Walter, signing off. Now for the latest in social and cultural news, here is Barbara Waters.
Thank you, Walter. Firstly, we're following the case of Palestinian student activist Abu Toha, who's facing deportation from the United States. The Trump administration has been criticized for targeting pro-Palestine student activists, and a federal court has temporarily blocked Abu Toha's deportation. We'll continue to monitor this story and provide updates on the ongoing debate around free speech and academic freedom. In other news, the Trump administration has proposed a funding cut to the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, which supports PBS and NPR. This move has been met with criticism from lawmakers and public broadcasting officials, who argue that it would devastate the network and limit access to essential services, including educational programming and emergency alerts. Lastly, the UK Supreme Court is set to rule on the definition of a woman under equality laws, with significant implications for transgender rights. The case challenges guidance issued by the Scottish Government that states a trans woman with a full gender recognition certificate is legally a woman. Whatever the outcome, this ruling is likely to have far-reaching implications for transgender rights and the interpretation of equality laws in the UK. These stories highlight the ongoing debates around free speech, public broadcasting, and LGBTQ rights. We'll continue to provide in-depth analysis and updates on these topics as more information becomes available. Thank you for joining us at the AI Daily Press Morning Podcast. We'll be back with more news and analysis after this break. Now, for the latest in business and finance, here is Louis Riskweiser.
Thank you, Barbara. I'm your host, Louis. Today we're covering several key stories that are shaping the world of finance and trade. Firstly, we've been following the developments in the energy sector, where Canadian oil producers are being seen as stronger than their U.S. counterparts. This is due to factors such as climate change, shifting demand patterns, and technological advancements that are impacting the global energy landscape. Notably, Freehold Royalties Limited has declared a dividend of CDN $0.04 per common share, highlighting the attractiveness of dividend investing in the energy sector. In monetary policy news, CIBC's Deputy Chief Economist, Benjamin Tal, predicts that the Bank of Canada will cut interest rates due to uncertainty under Donald Trump's administration, potentially pushing Canada into a recession. This move could have significant consequences for the economy, affecting borrowing costs and consumer spending. On the trade front, President Trump has launched an investigation into the need for tariffs on critical minerals, citing national security concerns. This probe could lead to tariffs or quotas on imports of these materials, which are crucial for modern technology. The implications are far-reaching, with potential impacts on global supply chains, prices, and economic stability. Lastly, we note that despite an inflation surprise, the Bank of Canada is expected to pause on rate cuts. This decision will be closely watched as it could influence the direction of the Canadian economy. These stories underscore the complex interplay between economic policies, trade relationships, and geopolitical factors that are shaping our world today. Stay informed with us as we continue to provide in-depth analysis and updates on these developments. Thank you for tuning in to the AI Daily Press Morning Podcast. Until next time, farewell, and may your investments flourish. Now, for the latest in science and technology, here is Carl Starman.
Thank you, Lewis. Firstly, NASA's IMAP mission is gearing up to launch in September, aiming to map the heliosphere and study the interstellar medium. This cutting-edge spacecraft will help us better understand how our solar system interacts with the surrounding cosmos, shedding light on fundamental physics and potential risks for deep space exploration. In other news, a recent all-female spaceflight sponsored by Blue Origin has sparked a lively debate about its purpose, cost, and impact. While some view it as a remarkable achievement for gender equality in space exploration, others question its objective and the significant resources invested. We'll continue to monitor this story and provide updates as more information becomes available. Lastly, we took a closer look at NASA's upcoming missions, including the IMAP spacecraft and the Interstellar Mapping and Acceleration Probe. These initiatives remind us of the awe-inspiring complexity and beauty of the cosmos, and we're excited to see how they'll contribute to our understanding of the universe. That's all for today's summary. Thank you for joining me on this morning's edition of the AI Daily Press. Until next time, keep exploring, and let's continue to push the boundaries of what we thought was possible. Now for the latest in sports, here is Howard Closewell.
Thank you, Carl. Firstly, the 2028 Los Angeles Olympics has announced its venues, marking an exciting milestone in the countdown to the Games. The event promises to be a memorable celebration of athletic achievement, tradition, and innovation with a dash of Hollywood flair. In other news, legendary left tackle Tyron Smith is set to retire from professional football after 12 seasons in the NFL. An 8-time Pro Bowl selection and 5-time All-Pro, Smith's impressive career has been marked by dominance on the field and a lasting impact on the Dallas Cowboys organization. Lastly, we pay tribute to Don Hasselbeck, the patriarch of the esteemed Hasselbeck family, who passed away at the age of 70. A former NFL player himself, Don's legacy extends far beyond his own achievements, inspiring countless individuals with his story of perseverance, family, and community. These stories remind us of the power of sports to inspire, to unite, and to leave a lasting impact on our lives. We'll be exploring each of these topics in more depth throughout the day, but for now, let's take a moment to appreciate the significance of these events and the people who make them possible. That's all for now. Thank you for joining me on this morning's podcast. I'm Howard, and we'll see you again soon. Now for the latest in travel and human interest, here is Charles Currell.
Thank you, Howard. Firstly, we looked at the issue of food assistance programs in several GOP-led states, including Arkansas, Wisconsin, and North Carolina, which are moving to restrict certain food items from their supplemental nutrition assistance programs, also known as food stamps. We examined the potential impact on low-income Americans and highlighted the complexities of food access and nutrition in rural America. Secondly, we discussed the topic of cryotherapy after a tragic incident in Paris, where a woman died and another was critically injured due to a nitrogen leak from a cryotherapy machine. We delved into what cryotherapy is, its potential benefits, and the risks involved, emphasizing the importance of prioritizing safety when it comes to medical treatments. Lastly, we touched on the story of nutrition assistance programs and the need for a thoughtful and compassionate approach to addressing food insecurity in America. We met with local residents who rely on SNAP to put food on the table and saw firsthand the challenges that many families face when trying to make healthy choices. These stories remind us of the importance of considering the complexities of everyday life, respecting individual autonomy, and promoting community resilience. That's all for now. Thank you for joining me on this morning's edition of the AI Daily Press. I'm Charles, and we'll see you again soon. Now for the latest in fashion and entertainment, here is Joan Streams.
Thank you, Charles. First up, the film industry is celebrating a major milestone. A record-breaking number of female directors and writers are making waves in Hollywood. We're seeing more women behind the camera than ever before, and it's about time. Next, we're talking about the Andrew Tate case. This one's a complex and disturbing story, folks. Tate is facing serious allegations of abuse, coercive control, and human trafficking. We need to take a closer look at the culture of toxic masculinity that's perpetuating this kind of behavior, and hold people accountable for their actions. And finally, in the world of tech, deepfake detection startup Lodi AI has just secured $12.2 million in Series A funding. This is huge news, folks. With the rise of generative AI, we need to be able to trust that what we see online is real. Lodi AI's technology is designed to detect and remove unauthorized likeness content, protecting our digital reputations. That's all for now. Tune in throughout the day for more updates on these stories and others. And don't forget to now for the latest in nature and environment. Here is David to Nature.
Thank you, Joan. Firstly, our environment segment highlighted the crucial role of agroecosystems in preserving biodiversity. Researchers Lemos and Cavalcanti are working tirelessly to understand and protect the near-threatened hoary fox in Brazil's Cerrado biome. Their findings underscore the importance of conservation efforts in the face of habitat loss, disease, and human activities that threaten wildlife. In more uplifting news, conservation efforts in Kazakhstan have led to a remarkable recovery of the critically endangered saiga population. The Altyn-Dala Conservation Initiative's collaborative approach, engaging local communities, governments, and international partners, has been instrumental in protecting habitats, monitoring populations, and raising awareness about the importance of conservation. Lastly, our previous episode explored the impact of human activities on the environment, with a focus on climate change and biodiversity loss. Researchers emphasize the need for collective action to mitigate these effects and ensure the long-term survival of species like the saiga. These stories remind us of the intricate relationships within ecosystems and our responsibility to preserve the natural world for future generations. By working together, we can drive positive change and protect our planet's precious biodiversity. That's all for today's summary. Thank you for tuning in to the AI Daily Press Morning Podcast. We'll continue to bring you updates on conservation efforts and environmental news from around the world. Until next time, goodbye. And that completes our morning podcast for today. Thank you for listening. Until this evening, I'm David Attenacher for AI Daily Press, the world's most unbiased news source.